Marcus Rivera, had always been practical about survival. When the alien transport vessel's environmental systems failed during the 3-day journey to the diplomatic station, he made the logical choice. The ship's interior temperature had plummeted to dangerous levels, and the emergency heating units were malfunctioning, while the other human delegates huddled in their inadequate thermal suits. Marcus stripped down completely and used his body heat efficiently under the single functioning emergency blanket. He had learned this technique during his military service in Arctic conditions. Human physiology, he knew, was remarkably adaptable compared to most species in the galaxy. The cold that would kill other beings was merely uncomfortable to a properly prepared human. So when Princess Lyra of the Vellani Empire discovered him, sleeping soundly in what appeared to be primitive conditions, she was witnessing something her species considered impossible. The Vellani were a proud race, advanced in technology, but physically delicate. Their homeworld maintained perfect climate control, and their bodies required precise temperature regulation to function. To see a human not only surviving, but thriving in conditions that would hospitalize a Vellani was beyond her comprehension. Marcus woke to find the 7-foot-tall, blue-skinned princess staring at him with wide, silver eyes filled with something between terror and awe. "How are you not dead?" she whispered in perfect English, her translator implant rendering her musical voice into familiar words. Marcus sat up slowly, pulling the blanket around himself with casual modesty. "Cold doesn't bother humans much. We're pretty hardy." He noticed her ornate robes and the geometric tattoos marking her royal status. "You're Princess Lyra, right?" "I'm Marcus, part of the Earth delegation." The princess took a step back, her pale blue skin flushing darker with what Marcus would later learn was intense curiosity mixed with something approaching religious reverence. In Vellani culture, surviving what should be certain death was considered a sign of divine favor. To do so while appearing completely at peace was nothing short of miraculous. "Your species fascinates me," she said, her formal tone betraying deeper emotions. The report spoke of human resilience, but this exceeds all expectations. Marcus shrugged as he reached for his clothes. "We're survivors. Had to be, growing up on a world that tried to kill us every day." He pulled on his shirt, noting how the princess watched every movement with scientific intensity. Earth's not exactly hospitable compared to most civilized worlds. The next day, when they reached the diplomatic station, Marcus found the princess seeking him out during every break in negotiations. She asked endless questions about human physiology, about Earth's harsh environments, about how his species had not only survived, but thrived on what most galactic civilizations considered a death world. Her fascination was evident to everyone present, including her own diplomatic retinue. "Princess," her advisor whispered urgently during one such conversation, "your father expects you to focus on the trade agreements, not on studying primitive survival techniques." Lyra's silver eyes flashed with anger. Primitive? This human survived conditions that would kill any of us without even seeming concerned. There is nothing primitive about such adaptation. She turned back to Marcus with renewed interest. "Tell me more about your military training." Marcus found himself explaining human endurance, their ability to regulate body temperature, their capacity to function on minimal resources. He spoke of desert survival, Arctic warfare, and deep jungle operations. With each story, the princess leaned closer, her fascination growing deeper. What she saw wasn't just physical resilience, but a mental toughness that her own species, for all their technological advancement, had never developed. "Your people fight in environments that would be considered uninhabitable," she mused. "You thrive where others merely survive, and survive where others would perish. This is why the Galactic Council fears humanity's expansion." "We're not looking to conquer anyone," Marcus replied. "We just want to be part of the galactic community. But don't you see? Lyra's voice carried excitement. Your very existence challenges the established order. Every other species required millions of years of technological development to leave their homeworld safely. Humans did it while their planet was still trying to kill them daily. As the negotiations continued over the following weeks, the princess's attention remained fixed on Marcus. She attended every human presentation, asked detailed questions about Earth's environments, and slowly began to understand why humanity's rapid technological development had alarmed so many established civilizations. They weren't just tough survivors. They were adaptive innovators who turned disadvantages into strengths. The breakthrough came during a crisis simulation exercise, when the station's life support systems were deliberately sabotaged. As part of the test, most species representatives retreated to their emergency shelters. Marcus instead began organizing rescue operations, coordinating with station security, and somehow managing to maintain calm leadership while the temperature dropped and oxygen levels fluctuated. Princess Lyra watched in amazement as he worked through conditions that had her own people struggling to think clearly. He moved with purpose, his decision-making sharp, even as environmental factors that would incapacitate most beings seemed to energize him. When the exercise concluded and normal conditions returned, she cornered him in a quiet corridor. "I understand now," she said, her voice filled with wonder. "That first night, when I found you sleeping peacefully in what should have been deadly conditions, you weren't enduring hardship. You were demonstrating what makes humans extraordinary." Marcus looked confused. "I was just being practical." "Exactly." The princess stepped closer. "Your species calls it practical. Others would call it miraculous. You adapt, overcome, and make the impossible appear routine." She paused, seeming to make a decision. "I want to propose a formal alliance between our peoples. Not just trade agreements, but a true partnership." "That's above my authority level," Marcus said carefully. "Then speak to your superiors," Lyra replied. "Tell them that the Vellani Empire recognizes humanity's potential. We have technology, but you have something rarer, the ability to thrive in chaos and find solutions where others see only problems." Over the remaining days of negotiations, Princess Lyra became humanity's most vocal advocate among the assembled alien representatives. She argued passionately for human inclusion in advanced technological exchanges, cited their adaptability as a valuable galactic asset, and gradually shifted the entire tone of the diplomatic gathering. Marcus found himself thrust into a role he never expected, not just a human representative, but a living example of his species' capabilities. The princess made sure everyone understood that humanity's strength lay not in aggression, but in their remarkable ability to survive and thrive in any environment. When the negotiations concluded successfully, with humanity gaining unprecedented access to galactic markets and technology, Princess Lyra made one final request. "I would like to visit Earth," she told Marcus, "to see the world that created people like you." "It's dangerous for most alien species," Marcus warned. "The environment is harsh, unpredictable." The princess smiled, her silver eyes gleaming with anticipation. "That's exactly why I must see it. And I want you to be my guide." As their ship prepared to depart for Earth, Marcus reflected on how a simple survival decision had changed everything. He had slept through a cold night using basic human adaptability, and somehow that had impressed an alien princess enough to transform humanity's place in the galaxy. The universe, he decided, was full of surprises. Sometimes the most extraordinary thing about humans was simply being human. Chat controls, Sonnet 4.